Welcome back, guys. I'm doing these back to back, and in between, I had an interesting dilemma. So I'm hoping you can remember what we were talking about last time, because I'm gonna go straight back into that. Um, Last time we were talking about becoming our ideal selves and then acting as closely to our ideal selves as we can, without too much effort, and then slowly pushing that boundary, right? Becoming closer, coming closer and closer to who we want to be. So, after recording the thinking time where we actually thought about that, I decided okay, here's the thing. These take 1 hour, right? Which reminds me I should set a timer. These take about 1 hour, and then I had scheduled a role play with one of my HTC brothers for in 2 hours time. Sorry. I had a roleplay scheduled for in 2 hours. And so I do this. I was thinking, okay, well, should I record one more thinking time? Because I want to do 7 a week. So 1 hour a day on average. But I didn't get one yesterday because I was at work. So I have some catching up to do. So I was thinking, okay, well, if I do that for an hour, then after that I have 1 more hour of other stuff, and then an hour's roleplay after that. And so I was thinking, well, should I cancel the roleplay so I can, because I have a lot of stuff to do. I have dishes, and as we were talking about last time in the last video, my ideal self would do the dishes in the evening before, so there's no dishes for the next morning. Well, I have dishes from yesterday, so I'm dumb. It wasn't a lot, but now I have a lot more because I made breakfast. So here I am with a lot of dishes. I really need to shower, which is kind of gross. I should clean the apartment at some point. I have a lot of role plays I want to do. I'm really far behind on that this week as well. Those videos I've delayed for 3 weeks I want to do. There's just so much stuff I want to do. So here's the deal. I was thinking, okay, well, what if I contact the guy I had a scheduled roleplay with and say, can we cancel? Maybe move it to tomorrow or something. And I was thinking, should I do that? And then relating back to what the yesterday's video was about, this better work. Oh shit, okay. We talked about, well, when we're at an impasse, we think, well, what would our ideal selves do? And then we should act like that. And this one was tough because on the two options were, okay, maybe I don't cancel, I then do an hour's thinking time, so then I'm caught up there, and then I have an hour to maybe do the dishes, and then I do the role play, and then Sarah comes home, and then I shower, I guess. I don't know, like, weird stuff. It just felt chaotic and very back and forth. Like, I'd have to sit at my computer, think, and then do dishes, and then over and roleplay, and then over and household stuff, and it's very back and forth, and that felt not smart. The alternative was that I ask to cancel the roleplay and hope he says yes. And then I do an extra hour of thinking time because then I'm caught up. And then I get everything household wise done. I shower, I do the dishes, I maybe clean. I not sure what my plan is after that. I get the videos sent out. And then I can maybe just do random role plays after. Or I can do another thinking time. Or there's a lot of options suddenly. And that was interesting because it was like, okay, well, what would my ideal self do? Because I didn't really know what to do. And I thought, well, on one hand, I made a commitment to have a roleplay at this time in 2 hours. And that was that commitment I made 1 week ago. So shirking, I have a responsibility to show up. So kind of like giving up on that is not very, it's not great. But then I could compromise to some extent and say, okay, well, I just reschedule it instantly, because at least then I still take some sort of responsibility for getting it done, just not on the original time. And it's not perfect because I'd still do throw away some responsibility that I should be having. Oops. On the other hand, if I cancel the roleplay or reschedule, I have the time to do thinking time, then I'm caught up. And then shower and dishes. And then back into, like, then I don't have to rush the dishes, rush the shower, do the shower after. I don't do back and forth too much. I kind of, okay, well, I finish this thinking time, so I'm caught up. And then I do householding, personal care stuff, and then I'm caught up there. And then I move on to the next thing. I have some videos I need to catch up on. I can do some role plays, maybe some unscheduled ones. There's a lot of options, but it's more structured in my opinion. And I didn't know what to do because it makes more sense to cancel the roleplay because then everything's structured and I think I can do more and catch up more. But I give up on responsibility. I throw that aside. And that's not ideal. And I couldn't really figure out what my ideal self would do in that situation. And I guess part of it is like work smart, hard. The thing I actually ended the last episode on. I'll get back to that in a moment. But I decided to cancel my roleplay and then do things structured. Just get caught up so I can continue the day from ground zero, like from a baseline. Does that make sense? Like reset. Do a full hard reset of the day with dishes and shower. And then I can continue being productive after that in whatever way. I felt that would lead to the most productivity as long as I was aware enough that I might start procrastinating after the reset. So I have to be very careful there. If I procrastinate after the reset, I completely lose the point. I reschedule a roleplay for no reason and it's just fucked. So I have to be very aware of that. Now I want to think a bit about what my ideal self would do in that situation. If I was thrown into something where I'm behind on all sorts of stuff, I have some personal care to do. The easiest answer is to say, oh, well, I do what I just did. I do a reset and then get going. or at least my ideal self would do that. And that's easy to say, and that's makes me feel good because that's what I did. So saying that's what my ideal self would do is rewarding myself to some extent. But I shouldn't reward myself for this situation because it's a situation I really shouldn't be in to start with. But I okay. So I need to build a system for situations like that. Build a system that describes what my ideal self would do, and so when I am my ideal self or close to it, at least I know what to do. And because the description I made of my ideal self doesn't cover situations like that. It says I'm an action taker. Okay, well, what if there are two actions to take and one of them drops responsibility but is more productive, and the other one takes care of responsibility but is very chaotic and you probably won't get a lot done. So I guess I should further define my ideal self in that manner. And I think the best thing to do is when you're given a shitty situation with a lot of things that have to get done. The most important thing, I think the way to handle it is to say, is to think, okay, what's my what is my priority here? What are my priorities? What do I what's my, and like what's my first priority, second priority, stuff like that. I should try and avoid saying that, but what is my priority? Do that first. Okay. Then how do I move through the next things, everything else, as fast as possible, in the most efficient way possible. But make sure your primary priority is out of the way. And in this situation, I think I might have fucked up. I don't know. I certainly really didn't think that properly through, I think, but let's play it through. In this situation, I had one priority for the week, one major priority, and that was send out those videos I delayed for 3 weeks. Okay, well, right now I'm delaying it until after shower, but it is very quickly on my schedule, at the very least. Because the alternative was think, shower, think, dishes, roleplay, shower, then videos, or drop thinking, shower, dishes, roleplay, then videos. It feels weird to me. And I get a sense that I wouldn't do a lot of it. I wouldn't get it done. But if we had to follow the priority, the structure we just made, I guess it'd be videos, dishes, or it'd be videos, and then I had to get everything else done, so I wouldn't have time to think, so I'd do dishes, roleplay, shower, think, it turns into a very, very chaotic. So maybe the system's wrong. Maybe the system should be. What about we say define your top priority. Then why am I doing thinking time? I'm doing thinking time because I wanted to maintain the momentum I was having. The problem with having the roleplay in the middle of everything is that I just lose the momentum because I have to swap back and forth constantly. So what I want to do is maintain my momentum. Okay, so the system is in the most efficient manner possible. Or in the easiest manner possible, get as many things done as possible. That makes sense? And if you have something that has responsibilities, what the fuck? You should. If you have a responsibility for something, schedule it, reschedule it, or just make sure you don't just throw it aside. Make sure you don't just cancel, but give it another specific time so that you are at least accountable to upholding it. Okay, so ideally, okay, what my logic for this order was, okay, I want to have a hard reset of the day and kind of the week so that I can start fresh and then do things today as I should have, in the order I should have. And the hard reset includes showering and dishes, so everything's done there. And it includes, then why do I include thinking time? Because I'm behind, I'm an hour behind. And it's easy enough to catch up on that I can do it quickly, and I already had the momentum for it, so that it's easy to do. And so that's why I decided to keep the thinking time going. So the logic is reset, then work on your top priority, and then second priority, and then third priority in the most efficient manner possible. Like, figure out your priorities of the tasks you have to do, and then put them in such an order that you can do it now, and if required, do a reset first. I think that's fair. And I think dishes and shower and stuff, that's also important because it has to be done today. Because it's not only me that relies on the dishes and the showering thing, it's a dinner with parents. And I'm really gross. So it has to be done today. So, okay. I guess they're also pretty high on the priority list then. Reset. Whatever that involves. And it's not a total reset because I'm still behind on roleplays for this week. And I am behind on watching videos, I think, but mostly roleplays. And so a full complete reset to ground zero would be thinking time and then a couple hour roleplays and then yeah. So do a quick short-term reset, as good a reset as you can within a reasonable amount of time. and then work things from your priority list down. Like top priority, okay, what's your priority next? This, okay, what's your priority next? This, okay, cool. So that's the system. This is a very quickly drafted system, so I have to test it and then adapt it and evolve it over time. But this is the system I am going to use from now on when I'm stuck in a dilemma of if I'm in a situation where I have two options of things to do. First I think, what will my ideal self do? And if my ideal self, if there's no obvious answer like doing the dishes in the evening, then instead I go and think, instead I go to the system, which is to reiterate it to myself, reset, do a quick reset in a reasonable amount of time, and then work your priority list from the top to bottom. And if you have any responsibilities, if you have anything scheduled, reschedule rather than cancel if possible. If that is not possible, if they're not possible to reschedule, if you can't cancel, then you need to face your responsibilities and get those things done as well as possible. And then continue the reset after, I guess, to some extent. Okay. So I think what I did was okay. My choice has been accepted by myself. Now we'll see what happens. Now we see if it fucks up. If it does, well, then the system needs to change. If it doesn't, then great. So now I had an interesting thought at the end of the last video, and that was I said at some point, don't worry about working smart until you're already working. And that relates to a dilemma I've seen myself in a lot of times and it's the logic I use, the work smart logic. I use that a lot with dishes and stuff because it's like, oh, it's 9 or it's like 10 o'clock because I've procrastinated all evening. There are dishes. This is my bedtime because I wake up at 6. And to work smart, I need 8 hours of sleep. I need my 8 hours of sleep to work efficiently. If I lose my sleep, I won't work efficiently, and then no matter how hard I work, it doesn't matter. Kind of, right? I hope that makes sense. My point is, my logic in those situations is, okay, I could do the dishes now, but then I lose some sleep, and then tomorrow I won't be as productive because I lost sleep. So what I should do is save the dishes for tomorrow, do them quickly and productively, efficiently, and then move on with my day because I have my full sleep, and then awesome. We're getting close. And so that's the logic I use in those situations. Hold on. Okay. What was I saying? I was saying, oh yeah, my logic for not doing dishes in the evening. Now, I've done that a lot, and I've delayed dishes until the morning after a lot, and I can tell from, I know from experience that the best thing to do is just do the dishes, get them done, and then lose some sleep. Like, Because if you don't have dishes, it's going to delay your morning. You're going to be thrown off your morning routine, and then that's like you're not going to be more productive either. And you're probably going to procrastinate most of the time. So this extra half an hour of sleep is not going to have a major impact. Because if you're only productive for 2 hours a day, an extra 20% efficiency isn't going to do shit. Whereas if you're productive for 10 hours a day, 20% is a ton. So the thing about this quote is I'm going to try and embody that when I make decisions, in that. And it also relates to the thought about doing stuff instead of doing it perfectly. Because doing it perfectly is being efficient and productive and perfect, right? Well, if I start my YouTube channel with perfect videos from the start, I'll get quicker to 1 million subscribers or whatever. That's correct. But if you keep delaying, like let's say that you make perfect videos from the start and then it takes you a year to reach your goal of 1 million subscribers. That is very much correct. That means you can get there very quickly in a year if you start with perfect videos. And then if you start with shitty videos and then you spend the first year getting to perfect videos, and then during the second year you then gain all your subscribers up to 1 million. Actually, it might take like a year and a half. So, right, you spend a year making your videos perfect, and then during that year you earn some subscribers. And then when they become perfect, since you already start with some subscribers, it then grows into 1 million after half a year. So you have a year and a half contra or versus a year, right? Obviously, what makes the most sense is to make perfect videos from the start and reach your goal within a year. That's obviously better. The problem is most people don't do that. The problem is most people think, well, I'll start my YouTube channel with perfect videos. Yes. And then after a week, they still haven't, because they're trying to make it perfect from the start. And then after 2 weeks, they still haven't, because they're still trying to make it perfect. And then after 3 weeks, oh, they recorded a video. Oh, but it had a flaw, or it needed a better script, or they need to practice reading from scripts more and writing scripts more, and oh, the video technique isn't quite right, and the intro needs working. And they keep going. And then after half a year, or maybe even after 9 months, they get started or something. And let's say they even get started after a year. Now it took them a year to get started because they needed to get perfect first without experience. And then it took them another year to earn back the subscribers because they hadn't gotten them over time. Now, in total, it took them 2 years because they took the strategy that was faster. But it took them 2 years because they were procrastinating and not getting stuff done. Because they were perfectionists, so they never really got anything done. And I think a lot of people can relate to this. I certainly can. I mean, I've done that exact thing. It's like with dishes. I'm like, okay, the technically most efficient thing is to do the dishes tomorrow so I get my full 8 hours of sleep. I mean, yes. But then tomorrow you're gonna wake up and be annoyed that you have to do dishes, and then you won't do the dishes, and you'll procrastinate and you'll lie in bed because you don't want to do dishes, and so now you spend an hour extra in bed because you're too lazy to get out of bed to do dishes because you don't want to, and now you lost an hour where it would have taken maybe half an hour to do the dishes the evening before. And you technically got all your 8 hours of sleep, but you don't do enough that it matters. And so this is what I mean. You should not worry about working smart until you're working in the first place. And I think that quote is really good. I think that's a really important thought and distinction to have, is that working smart doesn't matter if you're not working. Do I have any bonus? No. And I need to remember this. And that's and I want that to be part of my ideal self. I want my ideal self to be someone who recognizes the importance of hard work above smart work. There's a quote from Ryan Serhant that actually kind of relates to this, although he talks about talent instead of smart work. But what he's I don't know if he got this from someone else, but I've noticed in his videos he says hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I think everyone can agree to this, that someone may be talented and really, really gifted at something, but if they don't work at it and work hard at it, well, they won't get anywhere with it. But then someone who is not necessarily this perfect at it or smart at it, well, they're just doing it, so they get better and better, and eventually they're equal with the talent, and then they also have a ton of experience the talent doesn't, and then now they're ahead, and the talent might be able to catch up, but he's not working, and he's not working hard. And so I think we can adapt this quote to what we're talking about here, which would then be hard work beats smart work if smart work doesn't work hard. Because you can work smart an hour a day, but smart work, like, unless you're somehow doing 10 times the amount a hard worker is in per hour, you're not gonna catch up to someone who works 10 hours a day. That makes sense? Like, I'm gonna make an assumption here. Let's say that if you work smart, you work 4 times as productive. That means that for every 4 hours, or for every hour, no wait, hold on. That means if you work 2 hours a day, you're getting 4 hours of work done as a smart worker. But if the hard worker is working 10 hours a day, he's getting 10 hours of work done. So he's still doing more than you. He's getting 2 hours ahead every day. And you're not a hard worker. So one day you're gonna have a birthday party, and you're gonna not do 2 hours of work. You'll maybe cut it down to 1, or maybe you'll do none. And then you're gonna have a sick day, and then you don't do anything because you're not a hard worker. You're a smart worker. And if you're sick, you can't work smart. And you realize this, you're like, okay, well, if I work while I'm sick, at most I'll do 2 hours per normal hour. And then you think, oh, that's not worth it. I'd rather spend the day getting well and then catch up tomorrow. And then in the meantime, this hard worker, he keeps working 10 hours a day. Birthdays, sick days, everything. And he just keeps getting ahead, and you're better, you're smarter. But he's working harder, he has more discipline, and that's why he's winning. And so, hard work beats smart work when smart work doesn't work hard. Or talent. And so I want to embody that. I want my ideal self to understand the importance of that. Understand the importance of taking action rather than taking perfect action. Because things add up. And then when you do work hard, when you do work 10 hours a day, when you do take action, when you are making videos, well, then you can, over time, start to work smarter, work better. Now, like, my videos are already, at least, I mean, I've already solved some drastic problems with the first couple of videos, which was the frame rate, and then the clicking should be gone. How far am I? We need to start running due west. So those problems have already been solved. And I'm what, like fucking 7 videos in or something? And then I just keep changing, keep adding, keep getting better, keep working smarter. And then at some point this hard worker is gonna work so smart that every hour he works equals 2 normal hours. So now for 10-hour work days, he does 20 hours of work. And then he realizes this and he's like, okay, well, I can cut back a bit, focus on my mental health because, well, I'm stressed and my body can't catch up and I'm not getting enough sleep. So I can't work smart yet. I can't work proper smart yet. I can't do the 4 hours per hour yet because my health isn't there. So what he does is he cuts back. He goes back to 8 hours and then he starts spending an hour working out and he takes an hour to relax a day. It's like, cool. Now he's doing 3 hours per hour and he's doing 8 hours a week or 8 hours a day. So that's 24 hours of normal work a day. And then he cuts back a bit more. He cuts back to 6 hours. He does 6 hours of work now every day. But now he is working at peak efficiency, which we theorize to be 4 hours per normal hour. Like 4 hours of productivity per hour a week. That was the peak efficiency. So now he's doing 6 hours of work every day because he's a hard worker. But he takes an hour a break. He gets all 8 hours of sleep. He makes sure to eat healthy. He works out. He's fit. So he's working 4 hours per hour. He's doing 4 hours of work per hour that he actually works. This is getting very confusing with the words. I need to name things or something. And he's working 6 hours a day. So it's 24 hours a day. So I guess he matches the 3 hours with 8 hours of work, right? He's at the same level of productivity total. But he's also doing less. He's happier. He's healthier. He has better relationships with his family because he's doing stuff. He has time for them now. Instead of working 10 hours a day. And he's racing ahead with 24 hours of productivity every day. Whereas the smart worker is still down there working 1 hour of 4 hours, of 4 hours worth of productivity. So he gets 4 hours and he's just falling further and further behind because he doesn't work hard. And that's what I'm trying to do with these videos, is that I'd rather start uploading than get them perfect from the start. Because hard work is important. Even though we're in a culture right now where the focus, all these influencers and gurus are always talking about working smart instead of hard, and that's correct. It is better to work smart if you're actually working. But most people my age aren't working at all, so working smart isn't going to help them. Isn't going to help them until they actually start working. So that's what I want to do now. I want to become a person who works hard. And maybe not at peak efficiency, but as long as I try instead of procrastinate, I think I'll still continue to be better. And so that's another step I could take, I guess, right? Start wearing the clothes I have. Try to be more part of the conversations I'm part of. Try to be more active in them. It might feel weird, but I have to start doing it. And then focus more on working hard than on working smart. And then when I'm in a dilemma, and I think, what should I do here? The answer is, what will my ideal self do? Well, he would work hard rather than smart. And so he would do the dishes even though he loses some sleep over it. This is kind of motivating. I like this. Oh, I'm still running diagonally. We're almost there, boys. Almost back. Took 2 hours. It's taking close to 2 hours at least. Jesus Christ. I think I concluded that thought now. I can continue to define who I want to be. I want to be the very best like no one ever was. Does that count? I want to be like no one ever was. Do you guys realize what they sing in Japanese? Because it's not that. I don't even remember what they sing. But it's not that. Which is kind of disappointing. Because it's such an iconic song. It's not even close. Like, it's very different. What about my occupation? Like, what is my dream job? I take it closing? Maybe. Maybe just closing. Not necessarily over the phone, but closing people on getting better. Being a motivational speaker, a thought leader, a philosopher. One of my dreams for a while has been to have a TED Talk on something important. I want to be an author. I want to write books, both fiction and non-fiction. I have an idea for a book called Consider Suicide, which is pretty nuts. It's a non-fiction, and it's a personal exercise that I want to practice and consider and research, and I think it can do good. The essence of it is I have this theory that everyone should spend some time seriously considering committing suicide. And this sounds dark as shit, but you should consider it because when you're hit by hard, you should consider it when you're in a happy place. When life is going okay. Life is never going to be going great. But when life is okay, even when it's not, I mean, you should consider killing yourself. Because if you seriously do, then you can get through the hardest of times no matter what. When you actually consider it, you think of the consequences, you think of how people would react and what would happen, what you lose, what you gain. When you consider it and decide not to do it, decide that it's not an action you want to take, and you understand and you understand your own motivation behind choosing not to do it, you're going to be so much better off. You're going to be able to, when times get tough, when life beats you down and you're on the ground, and life then picks you up, throws you down, stomps on you, and kicks you while you're like continues to kick you, no matter how tough it gets. You're going to be safe with the knowledge that you chose to live, and you know why you chose it. And so the dilemma is never going to come up again. You're never going to have to consider it again. You're never going to wonder, why am I living? What's the point? Well, you already decided for yourself. And so no matter how hard life kicks you, you can just get yourself back up. So that's an exercise I want to use on myself, and then I want to do some research, and then I want to write a book on it. Because I think it's interesting. It's an interesting theory, and I think there might be something to it. But yeah, I want to have a TED Talk. I want to write books, fiction and non-fiction. A pirate book. I want to discuss morals and ethics. But I also want to be very businessy. Like I'm all over the place, right? I want to kind of be a jack of all trades and master of all. I want to be at the forefront of humanity. Someone who has things to say that are worth listening to. And whether that's through YouTube videos or books or TED Talks. I should cook some food. Or I don't fucking know. Like just live streaming or a course or just business, like just being a CEO. No matter what form it ends up taking, I want to change people's lives in some way on a large scale. I want to give to the world. And I want people to hear what I have to say, because I think I have a lot of smart things to say. So I want people to listen. So I want to be in a profession, in a position where I can tell people and where people come to listen to me. That's the essence of it. But I think I have something worthwhile to say, and so I want people to come and listen. What else? I don't know. I mean, that does relate. The I have things to say, and I want people to listen. Does relate to these videos. I had this thinking time in private before, and so if I want people to start to listen, I have to tell people what I think on a platform where they can actually listen instead of in private at my home. And so that's what these videos are for, is working towards that goal. Hoping that someone stumbles across it and starts listening. Oh, there's the jungle. We lost all that shit. Fucking hell. That's cool. Pond with dolphins. I mean, what else? Family, occupation, relationships. Is that it? Motivation? Um, what about an action plan to get there? I mean, with HTC, I just need to, I know what I have to do now. I just need to start doing it. Oh yeah, I want to be an extremely competent person. I guess that kind of goes under intelligence. But I think it deserves a thing of its own. I want to be a very competent person. I want those things I do. I want to be good at them. Like good. And I think I've decided to change my closing niche from self-development to B2B because I want to get into business. Okay, buddy. Yeah, we just fucking find the place now. The problem is the coordinates were not the base, they were that one pit. I considered making the base until I found the reeds, or not the reeds, the bamboo. And what if we climb? Oh, is that it? Don't think so. No, there's no bamboo close enough. But yeah, a competent person. I want to be. I'm not a very good closer yet. Whenever I do role plays with some of the some of the people I do role plays with, I can just feel, I can hear them, I can hear how good they are, and I know I'm just not there yet. Oh, there's the bamboo, great. And so I want to become a competent person at the things I do, like good at piano, good at playing the piano. I want to be. I want to know a lot of languages. I'll come back to that later, but I want to be good at the languages, not just survivable. I want to be a good closer, someone who's hired and talked about and recognized as being an expert on a specific field in B2B. I mean, how do I become that? And I had a realization yesterday at some point. And it was that I've always known that I wanted to be really good at the things I do, but I don't act like someone who does. For some reason, I think, I mean, I kind of know why, I guess. I'm inherently talented, or I've always had a very easy time being good at certain things. And those things include stuff like English. Always came easy to me when it came hard to my classmates. Or math is super easy. It's super easy to me, and again, it's hard to a lot of classmates. And so I've always had this thing where people have struggled with other things and I've had it easy. And I think that's just been built into my personality now, that I should have it easier than others for some reason. And so I don't need to work as hard as others. And there's this work smart, work hard thing. I don't need to work as hard as others. I'm talented. And then Um. Oh yeah, and then with closing, it doesn't come easy to me. I mean, I still think it comes easier to me than others, but I'm not very good at it yet. There are others who are worse, but I'm bad. And especially B2B, I've now chosen this niche. Before that, I'd chosen self-development niche. Have I done any practice whatsoever for that specifically? No. Have I looked into it in any way? No. How do I then expect to become good at it? That was the realization I had. I want to be a really good B2B closer. Oh, did we find it? Oh boy. I want to be a very good closer in my niche. But I have done 0 niche specific practice. Found it, guys. Oh, shit. There you go. Welcome home. Like all this time, I realized yesterday, okay, I could be looking up videos on selling B2B, on business stuff. I could be specifically watching stuff for that. I could find videos on it and then research and then practice. I'm not doing that. Why then am I not doing it? And it's because I'm an idiot, first of all. And second, it's because I've been living passively. I haven't been thinking. I haven't realized that I could be doing those things. Like I haven't ever thought to myself, well, why aren't you? I never considered it. It never came across my head, like across my mind to do it. Does that make sense? I think it does. How much time do we? I think we have a ton. Oh, we're almost out of time. Impressively. I don't know how I made all that time go. But it's an important realization I had. Because it made me realize that I am not behaving that was what clicked in me that was when I truly realized that I don't behave like the person I want to be right now. Not even close. I am acting like some entitled person who thinks I should get everything easily. Where am I going with this? I don't know. I should have it easy and not have to worry about too much. That's essentially how I've been acting, how I've been thinking. And I don't know where I'm going with this. Where am I going? I'm going to I guess it's just a realization that I've been working passive. I've been living on autopilot rather than living an active life. And that I'm gonna stop now. Or at least try. It's not gonna, we talked about this, it's not gonna be an overnight thing. I'm not just suddenly gonna change and be perfect. I just have to do it over time. I realized that I thought I knew I was doing everything right. I thought I knew okay. I have a way to wrap this up. I thought before that realization that I knew what I had to do, and I knew the actions I had to take, and I knew I just knew the way forward, but I was just too dumb not to do it. And to some extent, I was right. I had actions I can take, I had steps I could take, but I weren't taking them. But that realization told me that there's other stuff you haven't thought about. Like, oh shit, gold or diamond. Like, why am I not looking into B2B specifically? Why am I not become an expert in that? Why am I just doing a lot of general things? It was an important realization. Because it told me that there's a lot more I can learn. And a lot more I could do. And that even though I may feel like I've done a lot, there's still so many things left for me to do. And that's motivating because it means that I haven't lost yet. And now we're out of time. So I don't know how I had an hour pass by here, but I did, and I want to thank you for listening. And maybe I didn't. Oh well. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.